Hey y'all, Katie here with Team EvoAZ at eXp Realty. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We are super excited for this season. As you know, we are based in the Phoenix, Arizona area. But what you may not have known is that we're growing our team nationwide, and we have already started. So if you know of anybody that is looking to buy or sell throughout the country, no matter what state it's in, please contact us. We'd be happy to help. We'd be happy to offer advice. And if you know of anybody that is either getting into the real estate industry or is looking for an awesome change in their career and in their lives, we are also hiring real estate agents across the country. Thanks again and enjoy the show.
Hey, Facebook and everybody else out there in the world. It's Katie and
Matt.
and we are here again with R.E.A.L. That stands for Real Estate and Life. We are a husband and wife team, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Team of all things. Live together, work together, have children together, all of that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, we do lots of together things. And today we are together with our favorite rental ninja, Susie.
Hi, Suze.
Hi.
Susie, tell our audience a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness, a little about me. I have 3 kids, 7 grandkids. I spend most of my days looking at houses either on the internet or driving around in my car, meeting people to show houses, and it's a good life.
It is a good life. Yeah, and you are very, very good at it. So not only does Susie show home buyers and also help home sellers, but she got super good at navigating the rental market, I have to say. You got a lot of practice.
Keeps changing.
Exactly, the market that keeps changing. But you definitely took the bull by the horns, and I know, because I get the messages from people who say, oh my gosh, Susie is so fantastic. I know that you've helped a lot of renters out there navigate these waters, and it's not easy, is it? I mean, it's not like a bowl of cherries out there in the rental market right now.
No, not that many rentals available, and a lot of people needing a place to live.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need to live somewhere, so if you're not buying, you've got to be renting somewhere, right?
Right.
I did take a look at statistics this morning and I found it super interesting at how low the rental inventory is. I mean, I kind of had an idea, but I don't work with rentals all that much, except for maybe our personal rentals that we have. But I was shocked to see that there's just literally nothing on the market. So in Maricopa County, there are about 1,750 rentals on the market as of this morning. And that ranges from about $600 a month to $35,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can imagine, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom property, you got a kid or 2 or whatever it is, you're looking for a 3-bedroom home, give yourself a little bit of space, maybe a yard. That drops to only 874 homes available in Maricopa County, just moving to a 3-bedroom. It also kicks up your minimum rental amount to $900. So of course, depending on location and depending on the type of property that you have, obviously it's going to go higher than that, but that's it jumps up pretty high.
Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. I had an instance where I set up a showing, and I thought it was my showing. I set it up, and when I got there, my client got there a little bit ahead of time and said, Susie, I don't know what's going on, but there's like 8 people on the front lawn. And I'm like, hey, they're just the people from before, and they're just clearing out. I'm right around the corner. By the time I got around the corner, literally like within a minute, there were 20 people now on the front lawn. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm calling the office saying, this was my showing time. What's happening? Well, we have a tenant inside that's not going to let anybody in until our agent gets there. When the agent got there, he opened up the door, and people were like storming the door like it's a rock concert. And I'm like, no, nope. This isn't how we do it. And I take my client, we're going to go look elsewhere. Thank you very much. But it was crazy.
That is absolutely nuts. And do you remember, was it a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom? Because again, very, very small amount of affordable properties that size on the market right now.
It was a 3-bedroom in Apache Junction for $1,700 a month.
Wow. Wow. Things have really popped up in the last couple of years.
Very California-esque. Then I think that's a lot of the people that are coming here too. A lot of people are coming over from California. And wow, that's just crazy.
And so speaking, circling back to statistics, if you pop up your search to just a 4-bedroom, and now I'm not, in this search, I'm not looking for a pool. In this search, I'm not looking for any size, any particular size home as a minimum. So just popping it up to 4 bedrooms. I mean, we've seen homes with teeny weeny rooms that are called bedrooms. So I don't know what the sizes of these properties are, but then it drops to only 366 available properties on the MLS in Maricopa County. Only 366 4-bedrooms.
Yeah. And most of them now, I've seen a new trend where there's no refrigerator, there's no washer and dryer. They're very minimal. They used to, I feel like those things used to always be included, and the properties looked a little better. And now I feel like the prices are going up, the value's going down.
Yeah, because they can. I mean, because landlords can, right?
Supply and demand.
Exactly. I mean, it's really that simple rule. And so at a 4-bedroom, you're starting, this is statistics from the MLS this morning, you're starting at $1,300 a month. It doesn't matter where it is. Like, there's nothing on the market that's a 4-bedroom in Maricopa County on the MLS under $1,300 a month. Wow. Nothing.
I'm surprised there's something for $1,300.
Well,
those are too far between.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, you mentioned that example, that story where there were 8 people, then all of a sudden there were 20 people storming the door like a rock concert. But is that your common experience? What's going on out there? What's a day-to-day like when you're working with renters?
So day-to-day, the renters, okay, when you're working with a renter, I have to say, the ones that actually work back with me, we can get stuff done. I need answers, I need responses, I need, those renters are way more successful at finding a place. But we're looking at least 10 places before we find one.
Wow.
And how many of those 10 places do you feel like they put in offers and might not be successful with that lease?
I would say half of them.
Wow.
Half of them, because, and I call before I take anybody out to show a home. I call and I say, how many applications do you have? Do you have applications? Is this currently available? I don't want to waste my client's time and take them to see places where there's 10 applications on the property already. I also ask what the process is, what do you charge? We have property management companies popping up, and it's $150 to $300 admin fee to even apply.
What?
Just to apply, so you could lose.
Just to apply.
Wow.
Yeah.
So back in the day, the fees were like $50.
Yeah,
$25 to $50
for an application.
We still have those. That's why I call and ask questions first. Those are still out there. Yeah, those are when I'm talking to another real estate agent who is listing that property.
Has it listed instead of a property manager, like it's by owner pretty much, but through an agent, but it's the owner that's going to be managing it.
Right. I have way more success with those ones. If you have a little bit of a credit problem, you can talk to a human, and there's things you can do for credit problems. One is, write a letter and explain what that credit problem was, why you had that credit problem. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you had, medical expenses or something like that. As long as you have a good credit history, you don't have evictions, things like that, typically they will work with you.
And you're finding that property managers or property management companies that list these properties are a little bit harder in those areas. Like if you've got less than stellar credit, or if you've got a medical collection or something popping up, something's going on. You find that owners are a little bit easier to work with, like direct to owner versus property manager. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Owners still see the human side of things. Property managers are seeing numbers. And
Mhm.
I am also seeing now, they're not even looking at some applications unless they have a 700 credit score. I had one yesterday, they wanted a 700 credit score. I said, are you kidding me?
That's crazy. They might as well buy.
Right? Right? And 600 is really the lowest they want. 600 is the lowest. You're not that far off from buying at a 600.
Yeah, seriously. No, you're exactly right. It's not that much higher to qualify. So how, like, you kind of started to go into how tenants can prepare themselves, you know, with the letter, if they've got a little bit less than stellar credit. What are some other things that you do up front so that way you can sort of accelerate the opportunity for your clients to land that property, knowing that there's probably 15 other applications at any given time?
Yeah, so they need to be prepared, and something you can do to do that. Well, like I said, the letter. You can do a letter anyways, just to introduce yourself. Put in a cute picture of your cute family. That never hurts. Another thing is make sure you got 2 paycheck stubs available and ready to go. You got a copy of your driver's license. You know, the things that they're going to want, those documents, have them ready. Because in this market, it's the first one in, the first application, they'll just start going down the list. And the first one that qualifies, everybody else is out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be the first one in there. And even though sometimes if you're the first one in there, the first one you got your application in, but you didn't give them all your docs, you didn't give them everything they asked for, guess what? They've already moved on.
You're done.
So it's like you almost want to, like, more information's better. Like, even like you just kind of want to give them everything to be transparent and supportive of your situation, and that's where you're seeing the results.
Yep.
Wow, it's awesome.
Have
And
that
you got to
application.
get out there fast. You got to get out there fast.
Right, right. So no avoiding Susie's phone call, because when she calls you, she means business, right?
You can also apply before you see the place.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
talk about that. How does that work?
so if you're online, I've sent you some searches, you see something you like and you want to just put the application in, we can put the application in and then go see the property as soon as possible. If it's something you really didn't like, we can withdraw the application.
Gotcha.
I'm kind of careful at doing that. I ask first, are you going to when are you going to charge for the application? What are the fees? You know, we don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff out there and here was $50 here and $50 there. It adds up. Especially when you're going to need your first month's rent, your security deposit. It takes a lot of money to get into an apartment, a rental, not even an apartment. But
Yeah, well, we didn't even touch on apartments because I know that's not what we do, but I think that market is crazy through the roof as well. Have you been driving around the valley lately, seeing everything popping up all over the place? I think a lot of that is apartment buildings, especially in like the South Gilbert, South Chandler area.
yeah, they cannot keep up with our housing needs. It's just impossible. There's so
Yeah.
many people moving in.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. So how in this very swift moving market with very little available to these tenants, is that affecting their ability to rent with pets? What's your experience there?
Pets make it harder. Pets make it harder. But there's a few agents that I know of that don't mind pets. I'll kind of reach out to them. Or there's a few property management companies that don't mind a small zoo. So if I can't find anything, I'm talking, 3 or more dogs. But yeah, so I will reach out to certain property management companies that I know of that do allow pets, and they don't have breed restrictions. Some of them don't have breed restrictions. Breed
Oh, gotcha.
restrictions is a whole other animal. So yeah.
Talk about that briefly, if you don't mind.
So the breed restrictions are for certain breeds that are deemed not to be insurable. Some people won't even let you rent their place if you have a certain breed of dog.
And is that on the application typically? I mean, obviously you find that out up front before you start laying money down on a lease, right?
If I'm helping you, I'm calling and asking those questions. But do I see it typically written out? Not really. Yeah. Not really. I've had people who are going through the whole application process. They get down to that part and they're like, oh yeah, no, sorry.
Mm, mm.
They already think they've secured a place, and they've not secured a place, and they're already, they've already think that place is secure, so they're already set. They've already given their landlord notice that they're moving out. Guess what? 11th hour, your application wasn't approved. It's like, I will literally be homeless after this afternoon. Like, what am I supposed to do? So
Yeah.
do homework, check that stuff first, make phone calls, ask those questions. Do you accept my breed? People think that, when you have a service animal,
Mhm.
they're not supposed to discriminate for a service animal. And I don't, there's just so many applications right now. I feel like sometimes, even
That
if it's a service animal, it's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would say just be upfront. Say, I have a service animal. This is my breed. Will you work with me? Let's not get to that point where you had to move out and you have no place else to go. Let's just, be proactive.
Right. So, moral of the story, make sure you have experienced appropriate representation. That's what I heard, number one. And the less pets you have, the easier it's going to be for you. So don't be like, I want to move, probably going to rent. Let's go get a puppy. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Wait on the puppy. Wait on the puppy. Yeah.
Well, it seems like, just like you said, the best way to get results in this is being proactive. And I think your message, like ultimately to most renters out there, is like, first you're having this internal conversation that, hey, moving is inevitable. We're probably going to have to do this. So good thought on that and what the time frame is. And the next best step is contact Susie, because there's a lot of things that people are not questioning. They're not gathering information, and they're thinking it was like yesterday's market 2 months to a year ago when they got into the rental that they're in, that they can kind of take their time and be lackadaisical and just get in. And it's not the case. Like you have to be pretty much a killer to get in. You got to be on point and have everything ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If you see a house pop up like on Monday and you think you're going to see it on Wednesday, you're not going to see it on Wednesday. It's gone.
Yeah, it is literally that fast. Susie, how can a prospective tenant get in touch with you if they have questions or if they need some experienced representation?
They can call me or text me, 623-363-4440. You can email me at susie@evoaz.com, SUSIE@evoaz.com. Facebook.
Awesome. Yes.
Message.
Or Facebook. Yes, I'll tag you in the show notes, so then that way people can also Facebook you. There's a lot of that going around. I get a lot of messages and a lot of people asking questions about real estate via Facebook. So it's just so much easier anymore.
Yeah, last tip. I have one more tip.
Give it to us.
Just go ahead and talk to your favorite lender if you don't have one, we do. But find out what your credit is. Find out where you stand.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good
It's
idea.
free.
It's free. It's good to know. And honestly, I mean, we've had Ryan on a bunch of times in various other videos and podcasts and stuff. And, there is that thought out there that if you get your credit checked, it's going to drop it. And there is a lot of not correct information with that idea. And we can get into that at another time, but it's not going to drastically change your credit score to have a lender check it, especially Ryan. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to advise you. If you're not ready for a purchase yet, that's totally fine. What Susie's saying is really, really important. It's good to know what's going on because, there could be mistakes on there and you might not know that.
Well, and just know going in where you stand. Don't go try to get that 700 credit requirement if you know you can't meet it. We're just going to get that off the table. Just know where you stand.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's all about being prepared, right, guys? We've been talking about being prepared for the last, I don't know how long, but that's really the moral of the story here. So we talked about the inventory levels on the, available on MLS being really, really low. So are you noticing that prospective tenants are going to other places to find rental properties?
They are. Craigslist, Zillow, Realtor.com, all those normals that they go to. But I had one client recently. I'm helping her now. She was looking on her own, and she went to Zillow. This shocked me. It shocked me because I hadn't heard this before. For Craigslist, I know, be careful, buyer beware, all of that. She was actually on Zillow and got scammed on Zillow, paid $4,000 to get into a rental that wasn't a real rental. But it makes sense because you can go onto Zillow on your own and put your own information in. And so, no matter where you're going, no matter what you're doing, do some homework, make sure it's legit. Don't send money to anybody sight unseen for any reason. Make sure they are who they say they are.
Exactly. So here's what's happening. And I've actually had it happen a couple of times in my career also. We list a lot of property and we list it for sale, right? So these criminals, these crooks are basically going on, whatever website, and they're pulling pictures of properties that are for sale and posting them as rentals on Zillow, because you can do that. It doesn't matter who you are. You can post whatever you want on Zillow in terms of it being a rental. You can't for sale properties unless you're a for sale by owner, but for rentals, you can. Doesn't matter who you are. You can on Craigslist. Doesn't matter who you are. And so these people are sending deposits because it's difficult to secure property right now, and these crooks understand that. These people are sending deposits out of desperation. This one particular example, I had a seller and we were just about to close. It was like 2 or 3 days to close. He was home packing, getting ready, and he had a frantic bang on the door, like the cops were there or something. And so he goes over and answers the door, and this lady looked all shaken up and said, "I'm supposed to be moving in today. It looks like you haven't quite all the way moved out yet. My kids are starting school tomorrow. Like I got to get in here. And I got to get out of my place. I'm going to get kicked out, whatever it is." And he kind of was shocked and looked at her and said, "Well, no, it's not for rent. You must have, maybe it's a neighbor. I don't know. You must have the wrong house because my house is for sale." Of course, he had the sale sign right in front, right? "My house is for sale and we actually close in a couple of days. So I'm sorry you did not rent my house." And at this time in our career, or, in the market, it was a couple of years ago. And so the deposit amount that she had given was $1,200, not $4,000 like you just mentioned, but it was her last $1,200. And she sat in the door on the, front patio and basically just sobbed because she was a single mom with kids and gave some crook her last $1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Super sad. And so my seller called me up, obviously very confused, and was a bit irritated. And I had to explain to him, "No, I had nothing to do with that. I did not rent your house. There's nothing fishy going on here that I'm aware of. But now we know that your house is somewhere out there, somewhere being advertised for rent." And it's just such a sad situation.
So, and the best thing that you can do is, if you're not a professional, that's why you need a professional representing you. And that's why it's so important. There's a lot of people that just want to do it themselves. They don't want to they feel like they can do it themselves. But this is one of those great examples that Suze, you just said, Katie just said, that reach out to a professional, especially in these aggressive markets. There's a lot of scammers. There's no inventory. You have to have all your ducks in a row. And if you don't know what you're doing, please start off by doing one thing can make sure you're doing what you're doing. And that's talk to Suze.
Right. It doesn't cost a renter anything to work with you, right, Suze?
Nothing at all.
So they're they're
totally free.
Right. So they're literally bettering their chances of getting into a property and not getting scammed by hiring you, yet they don't have to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so simple to me, but I know it saves a lot of people. So when you're working with a rental, and I know you do this, go and check tax records, because we have easy access to tax records. Everybody does, because it's public knowledge, but we have, those cool programs where we have easy access to tax records. go and see if it's actually the owner that you're dealing with, or it's actually, legit.
Mm-hmm.
You can match these things up by just checking who's the owner of record and tax records. If Joe Schmo is saying, I'm the owner of this house and I'm trying to rent to you, but Judy Smith is actually the owner of the home, well, you got to start asking some questions, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Good tip.
Right? Important stuff. Well, thank you, Suze. I really appreciate your time being here. I have to say, for those of you out there, especially those of you with 700 credit scores, not buying property, but renting property, definitely look into a purchase, because in most cases, it's cheaper and even easier. I know you're hearing horror stories about buying right now, but it's even easier than renting to get into a property and start building your portfolio instead of building somebody else's portfolio, I know a lot of people say, well, I don't know if I'm going to stick around in the Phoenix area, or, job might relocate me, or I don't really know if this is my forever home. So, I'm not going to buy. But I have to tell you, if that was you saying that 2 years ago, and you're still living here and you purchased a home 2 years ago, and now you're ready to move, you can put a tenant in that property and start making some pretty massive cash flow and just hold on to that asset.
Yeah. And or if you had to sell after that 2 years, you'd have no problem with the amount of equity that you would have made. And I think, kind of the best thing, that's another great reason to talk to a professional, because talking to a professional like Susie, she's going to bring these questions up for you that you might not have asked yourself. And I guess that comes into listen to the professional too. I'm sure you deal with a lot of people that reach out to you, Suze, but then don't listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And how does that help anyone? That doesn't help them. That doesn't help you. So the biggest thing is just make sure when you are working with these professionals like Suze, that you're listening to their guidance and you're doing what they say. That's the best advice I can give.
Yeah, I think it's great advice.
And can I say at Team EvoAZ, we have the best clients. They are so good and so sweet. It's always so sad for me when my time with them is over. I'm like, hey, don't go.
Right? Can we still
have the best clients? Yes.
Can I still call you?
Yes, I had a little girl. We just found them a home, and she asked her mom on our last little showing visit if we could have a play date.
Oh,
that's so cute.
That's awesome, Suze. That's adorable. Well, we really appreciate your time today, Miss Susie, and your expertise as always. We love working with you at Team EvoAZ, so thank you very much for that too. Keep rocking out there, and people, do us a favor, please. We want to get the real news into the ears of real people.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do, because this is real news here happening now. So we are Katie and Matt. We are a married couple. We run Team EvoAZ. Susie is one of our awesome rock star agents. And this show is R.E.A.L, which stands for R.E.A.L, Real Estate and Life. It doesn't stand for R.E.A.L. It is R.E.A.L. Stands for Real Estate and Life. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye. Bye, Susie.